Very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for coming again to this lecture. It's part of our massive open online course, Global Entrepreneurship. And today I would like to focus on building a team. I'm sure all of you are working on your projects. And the moment you have an idea about the project that you would like to work on, you will need other people to work with you. And I've been receiving questions from especially the online students asking, how do I build a team? How do I engage the students in the course so that we have the team and work together? So I thought of talking about this today, and I'll try to give some advice maybe on how to build a successful online team on open learning. And at the same time, if we have some space, some time at the end of the lecture, maybe we can work on what kind of a team some of you need for your projects. So let us start. Let me ask you a question. Why do we need teams?
Single person doesn't have.
Okay, so Arthur, thank you.
For the very simple fact that no single person has all the skills necessary, so to speak. It's difficult to be a one-man show.
It's difficult to be a one-man show.
I mean, you don't know every single thing. Like
I know every single thing.
No, I mean, you don't master every single.
But I master every single thing.
Okay, maybe for problem structure, it's a different case.
Okay.
But okay, that's just my sense.
Sure. It's actually a very good answer. We need teams because literally no one individual has all the necessary skills to do all the tasks that are needed. So this is a very good answer. So for us to be able to deliver the value proposition, and sometimes even if we have strength, the strength needs to be amplified. So even, let's say, if I'm a very strong person and I need to carry this, I may be able to carry it. But if it's 10 times this weight, I will need few more people. Although I'm strong, but I still need to amplify the strength to lift this table if the value proposition is actually to lift the table. And we need to mitigate weaknesses because we say some of us are, maybe all of us are strong in certain things, and maybe we have some shortcomings in other parts, or we lack the skill that is required to achieve the goal. So the team, a good team, really is when strengths are amplified and weaknesses, if any, are mitigated, are dealt with. Now, have you guys worked in teams where strengths were dissipated rather than amplified? So maybe individually we are very good, but when we work together, nothing gets done. Have you been through such experience? Who has worked in teams that didn't really work very well? You thought maybe it's easier to do it on my own. Raise your hand. Okay. Are you sure? So all the teams that you worked with were very successful teams? Yes? You've worked in a team that, yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about your experience? You don't need to mention names. Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So what he mentioned is, a couple of years ago, he worked in a team. Although individually the individuals were very strong and the expectations were very high to put all these strong individuals together, the expectation of the team were very high, but somehow it didn't come out as expected. You were maybe rather disappointed. And this is actually quite a common theme. So the team dynamics and the teamwork is not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2 or 1 + 1 = 3. Sometimes 1 + 1 = 0, and maybe 1 + 1 = -1. So for example, if we want to move this table from here to there, and I am pushing in this direction, while Rafi is pushing in the opposite direction, the table may not move. If he is stronger, he could actually push us in the opposite direction entirely, and these things could happen. So I would like to spend some time on how to build a team, how does the team evolve, and eventually how can we deal with teams online when the team members may be in a different country, different part of the country, or even in a different country altogether. So I use this always when I talk about team. This is actually our Taylor's Racing team. And if you look at Taylor's Racing team, we have 2 cars. So the maximum that we need is 2 drivers. So really the person who's doing the action on the circuit would be 1 person inside the car. But for us to be able to build the car from the conceiving stage to the designing stage, eventually building it and implementing it, going to the race, it requires a teamwork. There is a lot of people who are behind it. Not everyone gets to drive. Not everyone actually knows how to drive the car in the first place, but all of them are very necessary for the team to be successful. So the way I would like to think of teams is through the functions that are needed to achieve the value proposition, and also to the skills and capabilities that individual who hold these functions have to have in order for the team to be successful. So if I look at the racing team, for example, I'll just quickly go. You will need a driver, you will need a team manager, you need a mechanic. Now, I would like you to think of the skills that are required for each function in different domains. So let's say 4 domains. So the first one is the knowledge part. Sometimes we call it the cognitive domain. So in terms of knowledge, what do I need to know to be the suitable person for this function? The second part is the skills, and sometimes is referred to as the psychomotor domain. So for me to be a driver, what kind of skills, manual skills, do I need to have to be able to fulfill the requirement of this function successfully? The other domain is the attitudes, or sometimes called the feelings or the affective domain. What kind of emotional kind of state I need to be in? What kind of attitudes do I need to have for me to be able to fulfill the requirement of the function that I'm supposed to be, or the task that I'm supposed to deliver for the team, so that collectively the team could deliver the value proposition to our customer or beneficiary. There are some other attributes, could be bodily attributes or things like that, that are necessary as well. So for example, if I look at the driver, and maybe the key thing that he or she needs to have is some psychomotor skills. These are skills that come with training on how to control the car, how to drive, when to release the clutch and when to press the brake. So these could be very psychomotor kind of skills. These are, I cannot just teach you theoretically and then you could go and do it. This is something like swimming. You need to really practice it, and that's why it's a psychomotor kind of skill. Maybe from an attributes point of view, you need a lightweight driver. So a person who is beyond a certain weight may still drive, but he or she could affect the chances of the team to achieve the goals in a negative manner. Now, there might be some knowledge or cognitive requirement as well, but maybe for a driver, these are the key things. Now, some races require that the driver has a driver's license for the racing. So sometimes younger drivers, because they don't qualify to have the driver's license, then just because they don't have these attributes, they don't qualify to be a driver. So when I am building my team and I know I will need a driver and I need a team manager and a mechanic, then it pays for me to be able to think of that individual to join my team, what kind of skills from a cognitive, psychomotor, affective, and other attributes point of view should he or she have. So the team manager should be a person who is very well versed with the rules and regulations of the race. You cannot imagine, I have been on the race and people start to challenge your design. They say, oh, you don't have side mirrors, we will disqualify you. So we need team managers who are very well versed. They brought the rules and they say it's optional, and they've proven, this is actually a real case, they've proven to the race officials that the side mirrors were optional. So they put optional, but because everyone else had side mirrors, we're about to disqualify our team. But because our team manager was very sure that the rules and regulations said optional. So when he showed it to them, then we were safe. So that kind of knowledge needs to be here. It's not something that you will go and search later. This is a decision is going to be made, in the heat of the battle. Now, maybe the team manager doesn't even know how to drive, doesn't even know how to repair the car. Maybe there's no specific psychomotor skills. But from an attitude point of view, we need someone who's empathetic, a person who is able to put him or herself in the position of the driver, in the position of the other team member, in the position of the competitor and the race officials. So this kind of skill or an attitude, the empathy, maybe is a very important skill for that function or that position. So the mechanic or the person who is able to service, maintain the car should be someone who is very knowledgeable in terms of engine principle. He or she should know how does the engine work and be able to trace any failure in the engine to quickly know why does this happen, and also to be able, from a psychomotor point of view, knows how to put things together, take things apart. So from engine repair, maybe if that person only works with the engine, he or she doesn't work directly with the team, we don't have a lot of requirements on them from an attitude or a feeling or an affective domain point of view. So this is an example of how you decide the functions that you require and what kind of skills in the different domains that you need. I have been looking at the projects that some of you guys have put, and as well as the online students have put, and they say I need a web designer, an app designer, I don't know, a communicator, and that's it. I think that's a good start. But what kind of web designer do you want? What kind of app designer do you want to join your team? So if you could actually build the matrix of the function that are needed and the skills, the level of skills that you require, and then that will make it easier for you to select the people to be in your team. And also it pays, which I've noticed, quite a number of the people who have been putting projects online, they fail to mention what role will they play and what skills they bring to the table. So they just say, I want someone with legal background, technical background, whatever. What about you? So you should also bring something to the table. You should clarify the role that you are going to play in the bigger scheme of things. So I would like you to start thinking in that way. Now, interestingly, whether you are building a racing team or you're building a team to help you sell your book or design your t-shirt or make your app, or whether you are building a company or a university or building a team to construct a bridge, almost whatever you are going to, or run an event, almost anything that you are going to do, thinking in terms of the functions necessary as well as the skills and attributes needed so that this function is achieved successfully in the context of the project that you are talking about will be very useful. So this kind of thinking is going to be very useful, systematic thinking to team building. I'm sure if I refer to your example, I'm sure if you were putting the function that is necessary for the team and you are aware of the different attitudes, skills, and knowledge that is required, maybe you would have realized that these very strong individuals, they may bring to the table very similar skills. And maybe that's why it didn't work out, because you needed other skills that somehow we don't have it at that time. This could be one of the reasons. But it's very important to start with very clear understanding of how to build a team. You think of yourself as a chef who's baking a cake. So you will need the sugar, you will need the baking powder, you will need the egg, you will need the flour, you need all these ingredients are very necessary and you need to have them. Any lack of one of them or having them in oversupply may have a negative impact on the final product that you are delivering. So these functions will bring collections of skills and attitudes that will lead to having core competencies that will be useful to the customer. Hopefully they are difficult to imitate and also can be deployed in a wide range of situations. So I would like to talk about a concept that's called core competencies. And if you look at the word core, it refers to the most important or a central part of an entity. So if I say this is the core business, means the most important business. This is the key business. If I look at the word competency, dictionary defines it as a skill that you need for a particular job or a particular task. So the core competency then is a specific skill that you have that is very necessary, that is very core to the value proposition that your team, your company is promising. So we all have competencies, we have different skills. Some of them in that context are core competencies and some are not. And that's why when you are building a racing team, driving is core competency for the driver. Now, the driver may speak French, and this is a beautiful skill. May be able to play martial arts, and that's also a very, very good skill. But maybe in that specific function that this person is playing, the core competency is driving. That's very necessary. If we don't have this, you won't be able to perform the task of driving. And these core competencies, not only teams, but also companies do have them. And the key thing for them, they have to be, in a way, difficult to imitate by the others for them to be a core competency. So if you say, my core competency, I can walk, then everyone else also can walk. But if your core competency is you can finish the 100 meters in, I don't know, 7 seconds, then that's a different thing. That's maybe something that's not many people can imitate, if at all. So a core competency is something that is directly related to the function that is necessary to build the team that's going to deliver the value proposition. So you have a value proposition. The value proposition, as Arthur said, it's complex in a way that maybe a single person is unable to deliver it. So we will require a team. And the team will be people who will be playing different functions, who will be performing different tasks. And these tasks are associated or linked to the core competencies, to the certain capabilities that will eventually define what kind of team we are. How are we going around doing our business? So if I were to link the core competency to the value proposition, what do you think the core competency of Aprl is? Just try. So Aprl makes products, right? Do you think manufacturing is their core competency?
Design.
Okay, so you want to say something?
Design.
Oh, it was him.
Design.
So design is a core competency. Now Aprl, to deliver the value, they actually do have, they need the manufacturing, but you would see the manufacturing is even done in a totally different place. But their core competency is design, and also another competency is not only design, is attractive design, but also they make their products easy to use. So now maybe other products are copying this, but when you buy an Aprl product, normally you don't need an operational manual or user manual to read before you can use it. You could straight away start using it. So if Aprl will never say, I am a computer company. They will never say, we are very good in making the product reach you on time. This is not really their core competency, although they will try to do that. But their core competency is attractive design and ease of use. That's what differentiates them. This is their core competency. Now, what's Dell's core competency? Can Dell, anyone using Dell around here? Yeah. Can Dell say our core competency is the design? They can't say that. You think so? So how is their design different from Acer? Or it sounds like very similar, but but is that a core competency? It's a competency, but is it a core competency that you think Dell, you think design? More or less. What did you say? Delivery. Yes. Yeah. So their core competency is custom-made and direct from manufacturer. So that's what they stand for. So both of you using Dell. How long did it take to make? 2 weeks. And did you select? Maybe you can. So you've selected the specification of your machine?
Yes.
And what did you select? Just share with me. How did you do it? You go to the website?
Yeah, go to the website and then select the specification,
Right.
like the bags or additional accessories. Okay.
Right. So you do that. Now, who's using Mac around here? Me. Okay. So that's me. Yeah. So you try doing this for Aprl. You can't do that. So Aprl never say we are about custom made. They have 1, 2, 3 model, and that's it. And that's it. You accept it. Take it or leave it. So they bring different core competencies. So that's the key. when you are building a business, when you're building a team, you are building a company, even for your project for the global entrepreneurship class, you will need to come up with a project. You go on possible.com and get people to pledge. So people need to know what is so different about you. Why should I buy the app that Rafi is making? Why should I support Jacqueline's program to educate the kids to get them out of poverty? Because there are so many other programs that are promising very similar thing. But if you could differentiate yourself, differentiate your value proposition, maybe your program is targeted at a certain group that doesn't is not covered by the current systems, or you are using an entirely different approach that no one else have tried, and hence you think this is going to give different results, then that would be your value proposition. Now, for that value proposition to be delivered, you will need different core competencies, and that's how the core competencies are connected to the value proposition. Now, I would like to, before I move on, I would like to share with you a bit about the team evolution. Some of you, I'm sure, have done this before, but I thought for the completeness of the lecture, let's talk about how does the team evolve. Okay, so let me put everything together first. So the team, I will start from the top right. The first part of the team is the forming. Now, the forming is sometimes happen because we have a team just because we are close to each other. We may have the team just because we are friends. I have seen people forming teams just because they stay next to each other, nearby each other, so they could do carpooling. They say we can go back together. So that's how they select their team members. So that's the forming stage. What I'm trying to propose to you is really to try to do the forming using what is your value proposition, what are the core competencies needed so that you could deliver this value proposition, what are the tasks or functions that are necessary for you to be able to deliver that value proposition, and for each task, what are the skills, the cognitive capabilities, and the other attributes that are necessary, and then from that try to look for the right person. Now, normally, during the forming stage of a team, enthusiasm is very high. People are very excited. We just started. So for example, if I pick on the same example again, these are very strong individuals. They can speak well. They are very good in their studies. And it's amazing, you know, we could do whatever we want. So often, in the beginning of any human relationship that we opt to go into, enthusiasm is high. So imagine this: if the boy meets the girl and everything sounds great, they are going around, having great time, everything seems to be perfect. So this is the forming stage. Now, as you move on, the project that you are working on, or whatever you are working on, start to be pressing. So for example, I come to you and say, where's the proposal? Have you submitted this? Have you selected that? And all these things start to come in. And that is the time where we realize maybe that we have selected maybe the wrong person, or we don't have, even within the entire team, we don't have all the skills that are required. And often in this stage, we start to have some sort of conflict. Now, let me just mention again that during the forming stage, while enthusiasm is high, the awareness of what is required from us is a bit low. So we are excited, but at the same time, we are not very sure what would the project entail. not very sure. We know we want to make an app, but how to make it, how exactly we are going to sell it, we are not very sure about that yet. Now, when the project deadline start to be pressing, the lecturer is chasing us, and maybe the team member is not really showing up, and conflicts start to happen, then inevitably the excitement and enthusiasm start to go down, start to be lower. But we are still not coming any closer to understanding what is really required from us. We still know that we want to make a T-shirt, or we want to raise some fund to help the homeless, or we want to make an app for carpooling. We still at the surface in terms of knowledge, but we have lost at least the enthusiasm that we used to be in. So that stage is called storming. So we start by forming, then we move into storming. Normally, this is in this stage, team members are either they withdraw, they stop contributing, or at certain times, there's conflict, there's even fight, disagreement, there's a lot of blame. I told you to do this. No, I was waiting for you. As a matter of fact, if you go for the groups page, you will see storming that has happened in one of the online team. So one student telling the other student, no, I was waiting for you. I thought you were working hard on the task that I gave you. Well, she says, I had something else. I'm sorry, I didn't communicate. So I had to actually intervene and try to cool down the situation. So this is an example of how storming take place. I'm sure both of the students were not happy during that period of time. You could tell from the comments that they are putting, but at the same time, there's low awareness of what is really required. He thought she's doing a research, but she thought maybe someone else is going to do it, and that's why the storming happened. Now, if we manage to communicate effectively and start to put more thought into our project, start to put it in writing, start to minute our meetings, start to have very specific goals and tasks for each and every one of us, then there is the possibility that we move into norming. Now, during norming, we are not happy yet. Enthusiasm is still low. But at least now we are aware of what is required from us. So you mean you expected me to do the market study? Okay, now I'm fine. When do you want it? I want it tomorrow. Okay, there's no way I can do it tomorrow. Can we do it next week? Sure. Which date? By Friday. Fine, we agreed. Then I start to deliver it. Now, and because everyone now hopefully is starting to see that they need to pull their own weight, and some progress is going to happen. And because of this progress, the norming start to take place. So as I told you, enthusiasm is still low, but at least awareness is getting higher. Now, after we go into the norming, if we continue communicating, if we continue performing the assigned tasks, contributing positively to the team, then we will have what we call the performing. So the performing stage is where we again have high enthusiasm, but now we have high awareness as well. So every team will somehow go through the forming, the storming, the norming, and then the performing. So it's very necessary that you actually push yourself through the storming stage as quickly as possible and take yourself out of it again as quickly as possible. From my experience, teams will need to go through some sort of storming. You could delay the storming by keeping on, not making progress, but that's not a choice. There will be time where you will need to bring your business plan. You will need to submit your project proposal. You will need to give me that report. And that's the time where everyone needs to pull the weight together. So this is how the team evolve, and this is called the Tuckman's model. Is there any question about this? Great, so it's very clear. So I just want to quickly recap. Every one of you needs a project. The project has or should have a clear value proposition. Otherwise, why would anyone pledge money for it? So you have a clear value proposition. For this clear value proposition, you will need some core competencies that are normally delivered by a team. You won't be able to be the programmer, the designer, the lawyer, everyone. So you will need the team. Now, to deliver the core competency, or to build or to establish the core competency of the team, you will need different functions, and every function or every task or every position in the team or the company will require certain skills, attributes, attitudes, and the moment we build this in that way, then we will be able to we'll be able to see what kind of person we are looking for. And I would like you to really utilize this when you are building your teams, and I think this is something that's happening as we speak. Now, I would like to introduce the concept of the organization chart, because this is something that's used often in businesses and companies, but also it's very useful when we are working in teams. So the organization structure is something that can help us focus the core competencies and deliver the value proposition that we are talking about. And it shows the relationship between different individuals or in a team or different departments within a company. And it shows also the lines of authority and also who calls the shot for a certain decision. There are normally two types of organization charts. So the one to the right is called the matrix. The one to the left is called the hierarchy type of organization chart. The matrix one is focused on different projects. So for example, you have project A, project B, project C. And for project A, you may need someone from design, someone from planning, someone from production. For project B, maybe you need only design and production. For project C, maybe you need design and planning. So although these designers belong to the design department, they can be sort of lent to be part of a certain project and say this is project C. So this is called matrix because these people, so let's say designer A, designer B, designer C, they do report to the head of the design department. That's their direct superior. But at the same time, they are reporting in the context of project C to the project manager here. So that makes the relationship a bit complex at times, but it gives a lot of efficiency. So this person could be doing this project today and the other project next semester. And because this project is not a perpetual project, it has a beginning and end. So when it's done, they can utilize the skills or the manpower that the company has in different aspects. So I thought this would be useful to talk about here, although I'm aware that you'll be having only one project, but I thought the organization structure would fit here in a very good way. So I'll give you an example of, let's say, our organization structure for the school. So maybe you have the dean, and then you have the deputy dean, and under the deputy dean you have the program directors, and under the program directors you have different lecturers. So the lecturer will report to the program director reports to the deputy dean reports to the dean. So what kind of organization chart is this? So that's hierarchy. This is not a matrix. It's a very clear line of authority here. Now, sometimes if you have a product range focus, so you have a technical director, and he has the chipset division, the microprocessor division, the microcontroller division. So you could see that these are technically focused on the product that these different departments are working on. So this is another way of structuring an operation. And the project focus would be when you have different projects, and under the projects you have different units. So you have different projects that are taking place at the same time, still hierarchical, but it's focused not on the department, but it's focused on the projects that we are working on. Which means when the project change, the organization chart will change. Now the reason why I'm showing you this, because I think it's very useful as you build your team to have an organizational structure for the team. This is something that you have to agree with the other team members. So you will need to agree who will be the team leader, who will be the person who, for example, will be receiving, when the pledge money comes, who is going to receive that money? How is that person going to disperse the money and utilize it for different tasks? These are things that you need to discuss now. You don't just wait for the money to come and then later say, you know, who's going to do what. Okay, now, if you look at any business, and including your project, you will need different functions to do it, or to achieve it, or to deliver the value proposition eventually to the customer. So the basic functions in a company, and I just want to speak about a company in a large, in the broader meaning of the word, and at the same time, you could always reflect on your project, your team, and how does this connect. So basic functions in a company would be, you have human resource. So human resources department is the department that focuses on attracting the right people, retaining them, and training them. Now, you may say I'm not a company, but guess what? When you are building a team, you are actually selecting people from 1,400 participants out there in different parts of the world. So how do you select them? So in a way, you are playing now the human resource function. Then you have the accounting and finance. And this is the part when I've again seen a number of projects where they say, the amount of money needed. So some just simply put 10,000 ringgit. I think they just want to get rid of the exam. But some say not known yet. It means they haven't really studied how much will the project cost and how they are going to, how much they need to raise. And this is something very, very important. You need to know how much money you want to raise before you can go and make your campaign on Pausable.com. So you have production. If you are going to make a t-shirt or a book or anything, you will need the production function. So this is either something that you're going to do yourself, or you are going to outsource it to someone else. You have sales and marketing, strategic management, operation management. So you will need some sort of management structure to take you through, so that after you get your pledge, your campaign successful, receive the pledge, hopefully deliver the promised value before the end of the year. Customer service, if your business has customers who will need to be serviced in the future, so it's not a one-off kind of transaction, so you need to really build in this function. Supply chain and logistics. Most likely the stuff that you are going to make, you won't be making it yourself. If you're printing a t-shirt, you'll be buying the t-shirt from somewhere, sending it for a printer somewhere else. The design is maybe done somewhere else. So how do you do this supply chain management? Procurement is the purchasing department. or the purchasing function, which could be done by you anyway, and legal and IT. So depending on the nature of the business and the company size, some of these functions are collapsed together. Some of it is having separate department of maybe 20 or 100 people working on it. So, but at the end of the day, most of it, if you notice, even if you are working with a small group, you will need somehow to have all these functions in order for you to have a successful team, a successful project, and deliver the value proposition as promised. Now, let me talk a bit about your projects, and then we see if we can take, we speak about a couple of projects before we end the class. So in order to deliver the value proposition, as we said, what core competencies do you need? That's really the question to you. So the value proposition is this. What are the core competencies needed? And what business functions do you need? So do you need legal department? Do you need someone with legal background? Do you need someone with accountancy background? Do you need someone with design background? And are you able to deliver all of these individually? And if there are some gaps, how are you going to fill these gaps? Often we will have the wish list that we have, and we would like person A, person B, person C to work with us. But these people may be committed to some other project, maybe not interested. So if they're, at the end of the day, if there's still a gap in our team, how are we going to fill that? Are we going to outsource that? Are we going to pay for it, find someone else to do it for us for a professional fee? So this is really the last slide that I have. And I wanted now to let me just put the slide again. I wanted to spend some time looking at your projects and ask you these questions. So before I move on, is there any question regarding the team, the core competency, how it's connected to the value proposition? Okay, great. So I think now we can see what's the time. I think
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So we still have 1 hour. I think before we move on, I see some of you are a bit sleepy. So maybe you can stand up, please. Yeah. Yeah. I want you to, yes, stretch. Yeah, yes, stretch, yes. Cameraman also. Yeah, cameraman stretching. You can, yeah, yeah. Move. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you're ready, you can sit down again. If you need to stretch more, you can stretch. Okay, so what I'm going to do starting today, what am I going to do starting today? I will be getting students, each and every class, to come and speak to us about their value proposition, then the core competencies that are needed, what kind of functions, and we will work out their matrix, the function skills matrix that is required for their team. And from there, we will sort of, imagine you are building a company and then you are advertising for positions. So you need this position and that position, and what kind of skills these people that you are trying to attract to your operation or your company or your team should have. So I would like to maybe seek some volunteers to, this is actually going to be very useful for you as well, not to mention that when it's put online, that will attract maybe some people to join you. So I would like to seek some volunteers to come and do this for their team. Eventually, we will have to do everyone over the next couple of classes. So Friday class, I will utilize the last part of it to do the same thing. Oh, you want to do it? Yeah. Okay. So do you have a? We have the pen. Okay. 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 So maybe I will. Thank you. I will help you. Could you tell us a little bit about your project and also what's your value proposition? Have you got the value proposition written somewhere?
No, but I just thought of it.
You just thought of it. You see, very good. What I would like you to do is really to start writing things. You see this, I have it here, is not good enough because I've been chatting with some of you and specifically the online students, and they say, I put the project, but somehow no one is joining me. You see, you really need to put some effort into attracting the people to your project, and I think clarity of mind is very, very important. However, you just tell us what do you think, and maybe we can craft the value proposition as well.
Actually, I'm thinking of having a mug with a simple design, so I can sell it and so it can sell all over throughout open learning. So
open learning or through
throughout the possible.
Possible. Okay.
Yeah. My idea was to have it on the mug to have a picture of the MOOC. So to have it under what do you call a merchandise of the MOOC.
Okay, so yours is MOOC merchandise. Okay.
The first thing I need actually is someone who's good in designs.
Okay.
So I need to find a proper designer who can come up with a nice.
So let's do it the way we have done. So let's spend a little bit about this. You guys could, if you would like to come closer, I think this is going to be very useful to everyone. We have some space here as well. So you want to do MOOC merchandise. Should it be a mug or it could be something else?
For me, I thought of a mug because it's simple. Because you just need to design it and put the MOOC logo.
Right.
So you can sell it and perhaps have it under MOOC.
Sure. So okay. Who are your customer?
Customers will be people who drink coffee, tea.
Okay. So I would like you guys to give him feedback. So he say the customer is people who drink coffee.
Or tea.
Drink coffee or tea. How do you think of the way that he described the customer segment? Is this good? Do you think he will have a mug and he will sell it to everyone who it's a MOOC merchandise and he will sell it to everyone who drinks coffee or tea? Is this good? Rafi says it's not. So Rafi, could you tell us why you think this is not good?
First of all, right, I don't see your MOOC is so special than the rest of the mug. That's one of it lah. If I got a coffee mug already and I can get it for free, why should I buy it from him? Buy the mug.
Sure.
That's about it for my right now.
Yeah. So are you saying that because not everyone who's drinking coffee even knows what is the MOOC in the first place, right? Now, yeah.
What's a MOOC actually?
What's a MOOC?
I also don't know what's a MOOC.
So you don't know what's a MOOC, right?
I can see that MOOC is Dallas University, but
yes.
What's that about?
Right. So you know what's happening on Open Learning, right? So we have like 1,400 students taking this with you. So these students that you will build a team with them out there, they are taking the course as well as we speak. So that concept is called massive, open, online course. So MOOC. Okay. I think you are going very deeply in your project. That's why you want to say something? Yes. Can you? Yeah.
But just like him,
yes,
there are others in the world who doesn't know what MOOC is. Why would they buy the mug?
Exactly.
Oh, meaning you only want to sell to those who actually take the MOOC only? Or
No. He say everyone who drinks coffee.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm asking, the question that I'm giving to everyone is, do you think he has defined his customers well? So who thinks that he did not define well? Raise your hand. Okay, so actually they think, yeah. Now, if we take this discussion and we say people who drink coffee or tea and studied one MOOC. Is this a bit better? So now, if there are people who have done a MOOC successfully, then that's maybe a bit better. So at least, and then maybe what you could say, instead of just putting the MOOC logo on it, it becomes something like, I've succeeded, I have taken a MOOC, or a MOOC has changed my life. So if you do it in this way, then you will have, when you target, first, do you know where are these people? Drink coffee and took a MOOC, where are they? So they are online, they are on open learning. You could actually put put your product there, invite them to purchase, right? Okay, who else could be your customer? So that's the person who will buy for him or herself. Who else would be your customer?
Perhaps on social networks.
Yes. So who? Social network has a lot of people.
Probably friends on social networks.
So the friends who don't know about the MOOC.
No, my friends.
Your friends. So maybe your friends, your family will support you regardless. Whether they know what's the MOOC or not, they will support you. Good. So maybe people who are interested in you. Yeah. Okay. Who else?
Coffee shops, perhaps?
Coffee shops. Do you think the coffee shops would be interested in this?
Depends.
Depends on what?
The design of the mugs.
You see, there are two things. First is the awareness of what is this MOOC, and second is the design. You seem to be thinking, just by making an interesting design of an acronym, people will buy it. But I think people need to be really associated with this somehow. So this is a very good start. Now let me help you. Let me help you. We have some companies here, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Ministry of Education could be one of your customers?
Yeah.
You think so? So maybe you can speak to Datin Shahira and say, will you buy 100 mugs from me? Who knows? Now, do you think Open Learning may buy some mugs from you?
Yeah.
And then, so the deal could be like this. You go and convince them to give a mug to the top 10 students in each MOOC on Open Learning. So they buy it, and then you ship it directly. Then they will buy your mug. Do you think Possible can be also your customer? So if you put their logos, maybe they will buy it, and then they will use it as something to brand their company. Do you see the difference? Yeah. You see, often we come and say, who's your customer? Oh, everyone who breathes earth, who breathes air. Everyone who walks on earth is my customer. But actually, it seldom is the case, right? So you need to be specific. Now, when you are specific, they are the people who are taking the MOOC, and maybe you could be very specific. They are those who are taking a MOOC on Open Learning. Then straight away you have that category that you could give them, show them the design. You could actually get feedback from them on your design. Say, okay, this is the design. What do you think? Before even you go to Possible to put it, you could do that. Now after that, they could be, like, I'll buy also, because I could give this away to my best students, and I could brand the MOOC through that. So that makes it an interesting proposition to me. But I do it because I'm associated with this concept. I'm associated with the MOOC, not just because it's a nice design. Okay, so that's key. So now let's do. So what functions you will need? You said you need a designer. What else do you need?
Someone who can distribute the mugs, distributor of the mugs.
How do they distribute the mug?
Because I need the mugs to design it. I'm not going to make my own mugs.
Okay, so you design the mug. Okay, then people pledge on Open Learning, on Possible, and then you will deliver to them.
Yeah, but the mugs, I won't make them.
You won't make them, so you want a person to make the mug for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are, okay, so mug maker. You know there are companies now that have mugs that are white and plain, and then you could just, yeah. But is this person going to be a member of your team? You see, we are looking at a team that you want to build now from the online community. So this is a recruitment tool for you. You are looking for a designer. We haven't decided what designer, what kind of designer, but you want people to join you. So do you want a company that makes mug to join your team?
No.
No, so you don't need that actually. Yeah, so what do you need? Besides the designer?
Someone who is good in marketing.
Okay, so marketing. Okay, what else?
For now, I think I need the finance department.
You need finance,
Yeah.
okay.
The team manager, which would probably be me.
So you'll be the manager, okay, so you'll be the manager. Now, do you recall what was the first column that we talked about in our matrix?
The awareness.
Knowledge,
Yeah,
knowledge, yes, or cognitive domain. Cognitive. The second one was?
The second one was
Psychomotor.
psychomotor.
Yeah, skills.
Skills. The empathy.
Yeah, so the empathy was what? So as attitude, right?
Attitude.
And other attributes, if any. So what kind of knowledge you think the designer should have? So don't say just knowledge in design. So do you want someone who have designed merchandise before?
Yeah, someone.
So you specifically want knowledge in merchandise design. Okay, right? What kind of skills you think that person will need?
Artistic.
Artistic skills. So what does that mean? Okay, so you guys try to help him. So he will want to go out there to the online community and look for a designer. So he say now, I'm not looking for any designer. I'm looking for a designer who is able to, or who has done some merchandising before. So this is not a fashion designer. This is not a web designer. This is not a magazine designer. This is a person who have done merchandise. So that's okay. Hopefully you find one. If not, maybe you could, yeah. So that's in terms of the knowledge that this person will have. What else should he have from a skills point of view? Creative. Meaning, say more? Yes.
Maybe something like, if you want to use a software, something like a photoshopping skill or manual hand drawing maybe. So someone that can actually draw, yeah, you know.
Very good. So you want someone who can maybe produce things in Photoshop, because later, for you to send this to the person, the manufacturer, they will need your design to be done in a certain format. So you need someone, not just, I think I'm a designer, you want someone who have done part of something similar, right? So you will say, maybe Photoshop. Now, in terms of attitude and attributes, you may want, you may not want, but maybe, so when you go out and design, you say, an aspiring team that is going to change the world through selling mugs that celebrate the MOOC is looking for a designer who has experience in merchandise design and experience in Photoshop. please, interested, please write to me. You see, sounds different, right? But just say, I want someone, a designer. You go on my project page, everyone wanted a designer. Everyone wanted a person with finance. It's confusing. But if you say, I'm specifically looking for this person, and I am doing this very interesting project that's going to sell hopefully 10,000 cups to 5,000 to 3,000 to Possible, 3,000 to Open Learning, a couple of thousand to the ministry, and then you customize the message. So you remember that in Shahira said, what does her unit want to do? Produce entrepreneurial graduates. So maybe you could put that on for her, and then she could actually give this when she goes out to meetings to show that she, through the MOOC, has contributed to that, right? So when you say that you have this winning idea, you have identified your customers correctly, and the market size seems to be that, and you are looking for a designer who is knowledgeable in merchandise design and has Photoshop skills. Done. That's what you want. Now, the marketing. What do you want this marketing guy to do? What kind of knowledge do you want him to have?
He or she should be good in promoting.
Okay. So, okay, what? Okay. Where? On TV?
That's quite difficult, but.
So do you want someone who is experienced in TV? I know someone who can join you. If you have a 100 million ringgit budget, they can put you on all TVs. Are you looking for that?
No, like.
So you're looking for what?
On social media.
So you're looking for someone who's knowledgeable in social media marketing. Okay. So social media marketing. Maybe that's the knowledge. Maybe you don't even need a skill, but someone who has done something like that. Now, if you don't have someone who has done social media marketing, someone who has marketed him or herself on social media, okay? So I give you an example. And this is a question to the class as well. What is the typical number of friends on Facebook? How many you have? 400. How many you have?
Above 500, I think.
500. Nasharuddin? Not sure. You lost count, right? Yeah, you lost count. So maybe if someone managed to have 100,000 followers on Facebook, for example, then this becomes the skill or the attribute that you're looking for. So if someone is able to sell him or herself on the social media to that level, maybe that person could, by virtue of his or her followers, you could sell your, just an example. So this is not really a knowledge, it's not skill, it's not really attribute, but it's an attribute, so you could put it here. So you could, or you could say here, you could also add it, large number of followers on social media. You see how, do you see now it's clearer? Rather than you go and say, I want a mug manufacturer to be on my team. Now, do you really need a finance person?
I think, yeah. And
So
that,
what does that person do?
actually, the attitude is important. He needs to be trustworthy.
So you want someone who's trustworthy. So will he or she be the person who will receive the money, the pledge money, or you? You don't have to decide now, but these are the questions that once you have your team, you will need to, start deciding on. You think you cannot do the finance part?
This can be left for later, but
Yeah. So maybe you could say that this is the part, managing the team plus the finance will be done by you. So you will be receiving the money, you will be issuing the order. So here, before you can say, I want to raise that much of money, you need to contact someone who does the mug, check how much does the mug cost, and then when you add the shipping cost, how much the total will be, then then you will work out how much is your cost, then how much is your profit. Now, working with this marketing person, you will see how are you going to create the community that will support you, that will pledge and buy the mug that you want to make. Do you see now? Is it a bit clearer? So you need to build this in, and that will be how you are going to sell your project to the people online. So hopefully some will join you. Any comment for him? Do you think this is who think this is a great project? Raise your hand. Who think this is a lousy project? Raise your hand.
Don't be scared. It's okay.
Yeah. Who has an idea to improve the project further? Yeah, okay, 2 people. So I'll go for Muhammad first and then Jacqueline, please.
Yeah. Actually, it's his idea is same as mine, but I'm doing a T-shirt.
Right.
Will be merchandise for the and supporting the rewearing brain.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully it's work, and make the student more get to know more the MOOC and what they use of it.
Sure. I will buy that T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacqueline. Yes, but it has to be good, you know. It's not only, it has to really be good. Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe instead of a mug, maybe a notebook. Because as students or people who are going to be watching it, the course, they will want to write down notes. And it will be so cool if you have a notebook only for MOOC, for MOOC. So that's just my idea.
So an idea? Yeah. So what she's saying, because I see her taking notes, and maybe if it was a book that you'll use for all your MOOCs from now on, that would be a great thing. Yeah. Any other suggestion or comment for him? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Was that useful? Okay, great. Okay, we can do one more. If one of you wants to come forward. If you don't, eventually I would like to get all the students to stand here. So on Friday we have a guest speaker. You have to do it in front of the guest speaker. Yes, so the choice is yours. Yeah, but you see, you have to put yourself forward, and then, okay, why don't you just come here and just really tell us, how do you feel? Was that useful? Was that worth it? Yeah, seriously, you speak from your heart, and speak loud so that they can hear you.
I think we should be more, participate more in this class, because, I mean, if no one participates, you won't achieve your project. So I think in order to be useful, you need to participate in this project.
So that's, yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So anyone else would like to, I won't force you, but choice is yours. Okay, Arthur. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I'll do it maybe here. Yeah, so I'll work with you. Tell me, so you speak to the class and tell us what's a bit about your project and your value proposition, and who are your customers?
Yeah, for the timing, I don't have too much info yet, because long story short, I'm helping the people from the School of Journalism or something. They are making a movie, so I'm helping them raise money so they can use it to buy equipment or props for their movie, because if not, they were going to use their own pocket money anyway. So I know some of them, and I told them, why not we use crowdfunding, so we can actually reach out to a bit more people. There's a chance that we can get more resources than you can actually pool by your own self. And with better equipment, you could possibly make a better movie, which would be good for your grades and which also would be good for me. So it's like a win-win.
Yes, good.
Targeted customers, not too sure yet because they haven't received the full brief. But if I want to narrow it down, because this is not a, those are full, what do we call, professional movie. We're not Steven Spielberg or something. You can go like 100 million or something. But
who knows?
oh yes, but I mean we're not in that range. But we are more of like amateur movie maker. So most likely the customers or people would be those people that actually support these small time movie makers, support student movies. So probably people like that.
Sure. Yeah. So you are telling me, I just want to understand this so that we are able to help you. The customer target would be people who are supporting you because they support this kind of movie.
Yes,
because you have to, this come in two ways. For example, who's making the anti-smoking campaign? He's not here.
Oh,
he's smoking, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, so, he's getting people not to smoke.
Or getting the people not to smoke while he's doing his movie. So that movie, the customer would be the people who are supporting the non-smoking campaign. For your case, are the people who are support short movies for students in any way?
Yeah, amateur movie thing. Yeah, yes. I mean people who are interested in this. I don't know, you call it street art or site or whatever. I'm not sure what you call this, but.
Okay, so normally where do these people exist? What do they frequent? Are they the ones who you can find them where in front of the, I don't know, you go to the theater? Are they the ones who go to museums? Are there any social media sites where they frequent them? Are they in the universities? Where are they?
From what I've seen, there are quite a few of them on YouTube actually, because that's where a lot of these movies go up. And actually, those people that I'm helping, they have put some of their movies on YouTube. I mean, those are done for free, but they have put some on YouTube. So that could be one of our, let's say, customer base, so to speak, or the place where we can source for customers, so to speak. Even social media works.
Right. Okay. Great. So then I see that the technical part of your work is sorted out. You've gotten the communication students who will play the roles of
the movie director, cameraman, or whatever. I mean, they more or less they have it.
So you really, what you need is people who. So let me not try this. So who do you think? What are the functions that you'll be needing?
Now, for sure, I will need a team manager, so to speak.
So that's not you.
Oh, I'll just put the roles out first.
Right. Okay. So
I think most likely I will do it because I know those people who are making the movie there, so I can liaise with them, and I can also deal with the online students. So because I'm also on the ground, so to speak, so it's easier.
So what kind of knowledge you need?
Yes, suppose would be organizational skills.
Okay. So
oh, gee, this will be in skills, isn't it?
Sure. Actually, have you taken Managing Projects for Success?
Yes, I have.
How did you find it?
Oh, actually, it was a pretty interesting course, actually.
Right. Yeah. So maybe the knowledge is you want knowledge in project management.
Oh, okay. I think that solves it.
And this is something that you have taken. So you have taken a 3 credit course for this earlier, and maybe you have that. Yeah. Skills?
Then would be probably organizational skills.
So let me help you. You are the one who proposed Photoshop.
Yeah.
Do you think knowledge in Microsoft Project would really be useful?
Yes, that could work.
Yeah.
but in the past I've done it with the Excel actually.
Right. But you know that when you really want to use the full knowledge of this, where
I do know how to use the Microsoft.
so do you think it's a necessary skill for a project manager?
Well, I think it would be useful, but not really 100% necessary. If let's say you
Sure.
really don't have it,
Sure.
there are many other tools that could be used.
So there are different schools of thought.
Yeah.
There are people who would think that this is going to be a necessary skill. It's a core competency for you if you are the project manager. Because when you do it with Excel, it doesn't send you a message when the task is off track. It doesn't alert you. It doesn't assign tasks to other people.
Yeah, I mean that you have to do it manually.
Yes, so that you have to do it manually. Yeah.
But
So
that's okay because you can manually keep track of what's going on.
I leave that to you.
Okay.
What kind of attitudes and attributes you think the project manager need?
Let's see. Probably empathy. I mean, like the previous.
Sure. So you need empathy.
Empathy. Patience.
Patience, yes.
I know something. Good listener or something like that, because they would want to speak.
Right. So good. Okay. So these are very good attitudes, and clearly someone who is not patient, you know that maybe you should play another role. What else you need?
Let's see. Well, I'll just use the word campaign manager.
Campaign manager, good. So what knowledge would that person need to have?
And maybe knowledge in crowdfunding.
Right.
Or knowledge in how to source for funds. Actually, maybe not necessarily crowdfunding, but since we are specifically using crowdfunding here, then I will specify.
This is very good. So just imagine if you put an ad out there, you really want someone who has done crowdfunding before. You may even attract that person. So I give you an example. You go to possible.com and you'll find a number of projects that are just exactly what you guys are doing. Short movies, right?
Yeah, actually, most of what we are doing here, there are people doing on Possible. Actually.
Sure. So now look at someone who has done it successfully.
Okay.
Right? And maybe you just invite him or her to join your team and join this MOOC. You may succeed, you may not, but the fact now you are thinking of someone with an experience in crowdfunding straight away tells me you go to Kickstarter.com, go to Possible.com and try to write to someone who has done a successful crowdfunding campaign.
Right.
So
sounds reasonable.
yeah. So this way, when we put it like this, instead of you look at the people that you have in the team and you build the team around them, when you think in terms of functions, things will start looking a bit different. Is there any other skills or attributes that you want?
Let me think this.
Yes.
Skills. I suppose skills would be a good communicator. Okay. This person needs to do a lot of talking or writing, or at least willing to learn this. I mean, not everyone has all these things in once, but as long as they are willing to.
You see, what you need is to put the attributes that you are looking for, while people may not fit the bill 100%, but at least this gives a guideline to what you are looking for. What about attributes? Do you want someone who is well connected to the media, for example? Is this a useful attribute? You may put it, you may not put it, but sometimes you may say optional or highly appreciated if that person knows while you are building the movie or preparing the film, someone is actually creating the hype in newspapers or on whatever media that is available. Yeah, so this could be a way as well, isn't it?
Yes. Those would be, I think, will be under here useful attributes. Yeah.
Would you like to put that?
Yeah, I mean optional, but
okay.
Nice to have. Being good to have.
Nice to have.
Something like I think it's.
Media connections.
It's either media or maybe even good social networking skills. So it can help to, because you're going to run the campaign for us. So that person can actually pull people from, social media is quite easy. You can pull people quite easily from there. So you can just direct people to perhaps fund.
You think you need any other people or
let's see, I can handle the funds myself, more or less.
Sure. So even if we stop here, now if you go and ask the other people also to put the director, I don't know, whatever task, and then you tell them, look, can we do it in this way? Just to help them in case they are putting the wrong person in the wrong position, just to help. And then when you build this in, I think you can still put this on open learning. Don't just build this around the people that you have now here. Why? Because even the selection of the film that you do, maybe having that international dimension to it, will give your friends at the School of Communication something to work with, something that will differentiate them compared to the other one.
Give them a broader idea.
Yes. So just imagine if you just put it up there. Who knows? Maybe there's someone with some cinema kind of experience who's available on open learning, and he or she would be interested in joining you. So imagine in the credits if you have some foreign names of people who really influenced even the line of the story positively. I think that will really differentiate and then these guys, they will find maybe they were so smart and lucky to have found you and had that opportunity to collaborate with you.
Right. Yeah. Sounds interesting. Sounds doable.
Yes. Yeah. So these are the things that I really would like you, all of you actually, to start documenting, putting it as in a form of a matrix table. Write who's your customer, write your value proposition, describe your project so that we can keep on continuing working on it until it becomes very, very clear to you.
Yeah, because all these are still not too clear, the value proposition, customers, because the communication side haven't given me too much details yet.
Sure.
I do meet the leader every week because he stays close by to me, but because he said the details haven't been released to them yet.
Sure.
So this is what they could give me for now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. So any suggestion, any observation for Arthur? Okay, for every one of you, you will need a video for posable.com. I mean, you've noticed that. So you guys all are going to have to develop videos. Now, I'm not sure, I'm just seeing an opportunity. If you just imagine that this short film, Jacqueline, this short film that they are making, imagine if it was also a film about your project. So if we can engage the communication students to produce short films for us.
That would depend on their
definitely,
title and
definitely,
outcome. So
definitely.
If it's not in, then
Sure,
you can do
definitely. But I just see that in the same way that
an opportunity
for us to explore.
Right. Not an issue if when they tell me their lecturer or learning outcome is open to this, I'll drop the idea to them.
Because the way I look at it, there are people trying to help the stray dogs. There are people trying to help children in poverty. There are people trying to provide reading for the blind. There are very, very noble projects. And I think every one of them could actually become a marketing tool for us to raise funds for. So if we could somehow create that synergy, between students who have the skills and the tools and the interest to build and they don't even have to join our MOOC. They can only do it for the sake of their project. I think
I've gotten them to join the MOOC actually.
No, for this they have to join the MOOC because they are on your team.
Yeah, correct.
But if there is another person who wants to have a short film about the stray dogs, for example, and that's connected and aligned with the learning outcome, we can work with them, give them the story, and I think the fact that their movie or their film has helped someone else to raise fund, that's an endorsement from the community that I'm sure their lecturers will take it into account when they mark their work. So that's an opportunity that I'm seeing. I don't think every one of you will be able to realize it, but if you want, just think about it and see if this is something that you can do. As a matter of fact, you could even reach out to those who are doing journalism or TV studies, even beyond our university. Why not? You just go out and reach out for these people who are looking for an interesting project. The MOOC itself is actually a project that they could make a film about, if you think about it. Okay, great. Is there any question? Okay, great. Thanks, Arthur.
Okay,
really
welcome.
appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay, so I think if we don't have any further questions, we can stop here. And I thank you very much and see you on Friday. On Friday, we do have an external speaker. So please be here on time and have fun. Thank you.